Okay, let's get started. It's 2 p.m. Time for another. Uh, it's time for another 2 p.m. Not a Twitch stream. It's not a Twitch anymore. It's YouTube. YouTube stream at 2 p.m. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we got. Um, Today's going to be kind of interesting in terms of Pega there, folks. Let me get to that in just a second. Here, let me switch to webcam here real quick. Um, so we got some work to do on our challenges. We'll see. And we're probably going to be covering some of the past two challenges already on that. So um, this just might be a rehash of both of them. So I don't know if there's really going to be any like new content um, for this one because um, I keep on getting uh, I'm still like getting emails saying, "Hey, well, I did it and did it this way, and everything kind of worked out," and it's like, so I don't know. I don't know what's really kind of going on that front. So um, it feels like I'm doing the right kind of steps, but maybe I'm not somehow. I'm not sure. What I should probably do is ask my friend to kind of watch me as I do this particular section. Um, but she's also at work, so that might be a little difficult for her. Plus, I wanted to redo yesterday's challenge because I had some issues there as well. I was getting an error at the very end, and it might have been the fact that I took the um, I proceeded too far, in the data entry. So maybe it was like going, hey, we were expecting new, but we saw resolved or, some crap like that. Um, so that's why it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. So we're probably going to be going back over those last two challenges that I did there. So apologies to anybody that might be hoping for new content, but yeah, it's probably not going to happen. There's probably a lot for me to kind of cover on that. Then after that, we got video uploads to handle, and then hopefully we can do Final Fantasy VII, the original, not the remake. Just want to point that out later on tonight for the gaming session. Um, my last attempt at trying to play Final Fantasy VII was met with the fact that the game would not launch. Um, I sent a bug report to Squaresoft about the fact that it wasn't working anymore. You know, they did like a recent patch and everything just stopped working. So that was I modified like all the you know compatibilities and stuff like that just to see if I can maybe try to get it to work. But yeah, it didn't. Um, I can't remember if there was a patch to it since then. I wasn't really watching all that much along those lines. So I don't know. But we'll see if that'll work. If it doesn't, then I might. Um, I mean, I don't really have any other like games kind of scheduled to take its place. Um, um, but at the same time, I mean, I'm having a couple games already that are giving me some trouble on launching them through Steam, and it's a little problematic. It's a little, I might have to do some troubleshooting. Just saying during the game session. Um, if Final Fantasy VII isn't working, then we're probably gonna just switch it over to like maybe just like a just chatting people blog session and just try to see if I can do some kind of investigative work to try to see if I can get it to get both Dragon Age Origins from yesterday to work and um, Final Fantasy VII to work. So that's everything that's currently on the docket for today. Um, so in terms of Pega, let me go ahead and um, bring that up here real quick. There we go. Okay, so ooh, I need to. My nose is running a little bit. Be right back. All right, and I'm not seeing the chat right at this moment in time. Let me activate that. There we go. I'm not sure why I wasn't showing the chat or why I wasn't bringing up the dock automatically, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so now concerning Pega, let me I say this at the very beginning so no one gets like confused as to what this is all about. I'm currently working towards getting my certification for system architect and maybe business architect as well, but main goal, get the system architect. Okay. That's my goal. Okay. Now, that's a little too wide there. I want to get the, there we go. Now, one of the things that I want to mention though, okay, is the fact that one, I am not endorsed by Pega, so don't feel like, I'm getting like some kind of special treatment from them or anything along those lines, okay? Um, they're not endorsing this. I never asked for an endorsement either, so don't don't feel like I'm doing this, because for for them in a sense, I guess. Um, you know, although they are definitely getting some benefit from me and the fact that I'm, running through a lot of their modules and um, challenges and saying, hey, there's some problems. Um, but that's here nor there. Okay, everybody should be doing that anyway, right? If there's a module, if there's a challenge or something like that that you're not really all that if you're having some trouble with, let them know. Okay, because that if you're having a problem with it, then there might be like 10 other people that are just having the same exact problem. So, or I'm or more. Okay, it depends on what they're having an issue with, right? Um, so also, I am not an authorized training partner. I'm working for my certification right at this moment in time. They should already have their certifications already, so don't feel like um, I'm not their training partner. I'm this. You should not consider this an instructor-led training. Okay, that should feel more like one-on-one instruction with a Pega employee that should know Pega like the back of their hand. You know, oh, what's that spot? No, never mind. Small joke. Um, but no. So don't feel like you know I'm I'm an official instructor. Okay, I'm just a software dev that's trying to work towards getting his certification. That's it. Okay. So, okay. Let's get to the system architect section here. And we will go ahead and go into the low code app builder. Um, now, we'll go ahead and go into creating a child case, which is, one that we were having some difficulty with at the very beginning, right? Um, I don't know why it's showing the instance here, but let me just do a full Pega reset, okay? Because um, I just want to make sure that um, there's no real confusion. Matter of fact, what I want to do right now is I'm going to walk through steps again, seeing it feels like both you and their employee isn't getting same error. Um, streaming on YouTube if you want to. Okay, so gotta wait for this to activate. Um, yeah, this is Okay, so let me look back at the email here. Um, I hope you don't, that I got an email saying, I hope you don't mind, but I took a look at your challenge instance. It looked like it had already been reset, which I mean, I've been resetting it every single time that I come into it brand new. When I reconfigured your system following the challenge instructions, I did not see the error and the child service case was created correctly. Not sure if you or your friend already made some changes to the system. Otherwise, would you mind taking a look and letting me know? Um, Here, let me email them and let them know. Try to stream the challenge again now. On YouTube. Um, Going to go through those steps one after another. Just see. Oh, maybe to see if anything changes, but I doubt it. You are welcome to join and see what I'm doing, and maybe we can troubleshoot the issue right then and there. You have time. All right. Uh, so, um, okay, there's no, it's not coming up. We're gonna do a refresh. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, it's still having some issues, I guess. Would have figured that it would have already been up and running. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll be patient on this. Um, so to be honest, I don't know what else to really change. I mean, I've already kind of gone through these steps, you know, twice now, and you know, um, so and you know, the idea of like, hey, you have to go back out and save something or anything along those lines, and it's like, um, now, okay, I understand, like, hey, you know, you're seeing the error, but I'm not. Okay, I get that. It can be really problematic if um, if you're trying to go through work, you're seeing an error and someone else isn't, then how do you handle that kind of situation, right? Um, they would have to, you would the only thing that I can think of is that they would have to be like watching me go through these steps and see if there's something that I'm doing that might be, outside of their norm, or, something that they might be doing somewhat differently. Maybe there's some keyboard inputs that I'm doing that, they're, you know, um, they're not fully aware of. Um, I don't know. So, um, let's see, state. So I got the list at the end. Maybe it was due to a fake address. Okay. Still prepping an instance for me. Okay. It's taking its sweet time on this. But we'll wait. Um, so one of the things that my friend is talking about is um, they're not really talking about it here, okay, but it's pretty much in this within this step here, okay. Um, in the create stage, okay, there's a number of text boxes that you have to modify to um, well, I mean, you don't have to modify them. They're not required, or at least a good majority of them are not required. Um, but for the um, for the service section here, um, it's looking at the address, the city, and the state. So one particular user said, pick the city, pick the state, of Boston and Massachusetts, because that was, two, the city and state that I guess is common. But um, maybe it's because of the um, like an incorrect address. Like maybe because I'm using a fake address because I don't really want to use any address that is, you know, um, like accurate to any like home or anything like that. I don't necessarily want to be causing problems for some, random person out there, right? Maybe I'll just pick like City Hall, Boston, and just get the address there, and I'll throw that down. Um, but you know, the um, you know, I would have feared that, just having the city and state, the fact that you're getting the listing of services that, you can just, select the service and click go, that would be perfectly fine. It would still work that way because you're still selecting that service. But maybe it is trying to maybe create some form of, you know, um, Google Map connection. Like, hey, I'm not finding this particular address in this particular city, so therefore I'm just gonna fail outright. I don't know. I don't know if that might be the issue at hand right at this moment in time. So, um, hmm, there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch this instance, and then we'll just kind of slowly go through it, right? Here, you know what? Let me try to get this into. I mean, everybody knows the steps by now. Okay, what I'd like to do is, um, we'll go ahead and select um, the challenge here. Okay, and what I want to do now is just I'm just going to go ahead and you know have my steps over here on my left, so I can just go through them, um, and then I'll have the exercise on the right hand side here, and I'm just gonna type all this out. No copying, no pasting, no nothing like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and just handle all this like how you would normally you know handle the process, for the most part. Okay, so we're gonna wait for that um, to finish off there. Um, this is where I believe it's actually validating the address, but there's no mention about it in the course nor the exercise. So doing something unexpected as to advance the case with no address breaks it. Though the exercise pretty much says advance until service. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, though, Fabula. That's what I'm thinking about as well. Okay, well, it's gonna take some time to load up the system, so let's see. So here's what I would say. Okay. Um, you know, if if there is indeed a problem with like the address, right? Like you have um right now you're letting the users enter in the address, okay? We've been doing like the city and the state, right? Um, but maybe it's the fact that I'm using a fake address. Maybe it's because I'm just kind of putting some random address in there. Maybe it's like trying to somehow validate it, you know, like how my friend is stating. But because it's an incorrect address fully, like it's checking Google Maps and it's like I'm not finding that address whatsoever. maybe it's somehow um, causing that error. Um, Now, there's two problems with that. One, um, you know, the steps aren't mentioning the fact that you need an accurate address to go through the steps. Okay. Two, um, there should be um, like a catch in, in that particular step process to state that, um, the address was not filled out correctly, in the create, um, in the create stage. So they would need to go back into the create stage and modify that address, or maybe bring up a window that will have them modify said address like right then and there to fix the issue. Um, but um, Now if it was me, I'd be wondering why you're entering the customer information. Well, why are they not putting like the customer information's location directly in? Like, do you have a drop down for customer information? Why not have the drop down for the location, or have the fields already, you know, entered, automatically for the user? You know, the customer should have an address on file. Why not use it? But we'll move on. So first off, let's go. We need to add a new process to service. So in navigation pane, App Studio, click case types, click assistance request, which is what we did. Hover over the service stage, and click the more, which, I mean, there isn't anything here stating more, so that's a little bit of a problem there. But uh, they probably should have this more as the what's it called? Not necessarily ellipses. There's like a specific name for the dot 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 there, but we do the add process and new process. Now it will do the service and service one there. Um, in the new process field, enter create service case. Under the create service case process, click step to create a new step in the stage. Click more, which, I mean, you see the dot 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 there. So, I mean, if you're used to the program, then you can probably, already tell that, this is what they're kind of referring to. But, you know, up at the very top, they don't have more. So, um, so that's all. Um, More, we go to automations, and we scroll on down to create case. Well, we don't necessarily need to scroll down because it's like right there, but we do create case. Creates one or more cases from the current case. So we select that to add the create case step to the process. All right. Next, I'm on step 6, by the way, in terms of the um, if anybody's kind of curious right at this point. So in the create case step, enter create service case to replace the default text. Great, done. In the contextual properties pane on the right, in the create the following case list, select service to select and to create a service case. So we're selecting this one to create the service case. Okay, nothing else needs to be selected or anything along those lines. They're telling me not to click any buttons or anything like that. along that, which, I haven't done in the past, so I'm just not gonna start now. Nothing in the audit note or anything along those lines. So next, step 8 on the service 1 step, click the delete icon, which obviously we're not really seeing right at the moment. Let me go right over here. Okay. Click the delete icon to delete the step. Ensure that the service stage matches the following image. So we delete that. We have this set up right at this moment in time, and service, assign service provider, select service provider, notify customer of assignment, step, create service case, and step. So the image is an exact duplicate of what we have in the challenge at this point. So we move on to step 9, which is just saying click save to complete the assistance request workflow. That's it. That's all we need to do apparently. With the assistance request, we are going to go ahead and move on to part 2, configure the service case type. So here, we're all done saving. Okay, so we're moving on to step 1, which is in the navigation pane of the App Studio, which we're still in the App Studio. Navigation pane, click case type, and then service to open the service case type. Okay, click settings tab to open the service case type properties. So obviously, there's nothing else other than the settings tab there. So there you go. Open that up. In the general section, under availability, clear the show in new menu checkbox, which disables the service case creation in the create menu. So we're disabling that. Okay. So, it shouldn't show anymore, right? Now, okay, so that was step 3. Just, part 2, step 3, just in case anybody was kind of wondering. Now I look at the image here, and I want to make sure that everything, looks the same, right? We got service, we got 10, we got work execution, we got S dash, the change icon. They have create step view when users create a new case, check marked, and so on and so forth. Okay, everything looks like an exact duplicate of, what they have on their image. Matter of fact, they even have, 0 there and a check mark down there. So everything looks pretty much the same. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next step, step 4. Click save to save the service case type. So click and save. So there we go. Let's let it process everything. Okay. They have a little note here, just to right below step 4, above confirm your work, they have a little note saying to reflect the service case type settings, log off and log in back to the application. So we're going to go, straight out and log off. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and put in our username and password. And we're logging right back in again. Okay. According to their note. Okay. So now we're back in the overview. Okay. Now in the App Studio header up here, click preview to preview the application. So we're going to do that. Okay. So it's going to start loading in. In the navigation menu on the left side of the user portal, or we're currently in the user portal, click create to confirm the service case is not displayed, which service is not there. So, the only thing that is there is the assistance request, which is what we're going to be wanting. Click assistance request to create a new assistance request case. Okay, so we're creating a brand new case right at this moment in time. Okay, which will bring up the, um, you know, it'll bring up the menu. Or at least I would hope that it would bring up the menu. Okay, there we go. So, new assistance request. Okay, we're identifying the issue. So, um, normally I just select the flat tire, continue. We have account ID, which, they have multiple. I've been selecting the J Mitchell. Okay, now they do, full name, email address. What they should do as well is have the, you know, accounts address here as well, as part of the um, customer, um, data object. Have another, have a reference, um, have a reference to the address. Okay, contained within customer that points to the, their address, so that it will, it should automatically come up when this is selected. Okay, that's what I would probably do. Okay, oops, because here we have the service address, right? Um, uh, but here's the thing. Okay, let's hold off on a second here, because the assistance request, okay, might not be at the customer's home location, right? Okay, they might be stranded, somewhere, you know, like they might be at a gas station, random gas station or something like that. So their, street, city, and state might be different than their home address, right? So, um, so while, it might have, you know, Boston, Massachusetts, and, the home address, okay, they might be in a different location. So the location might need to be updated. So, I mean, while um, while it could be their home location, it might be something else. So this should still be modifiable, or, be able to be changed. But, you know, why not put in, as default, their home address here? You know, just putting that out there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and search up City Hall, Boston, Massachusetts. And I'm going to try to get the address. There we go. So 1 City Hall Square. Okay, so I'm using an official, you know, address right at this moment in time, to complete the service address here, right? So we'll go continue. Now, maybe they're looking for an official make and an official model, which really they shouldn't. They shouldn't really bother, for this particular example. But just to make things easier on myself, I'm going to go ahead and put in, an actual make and model. Uh, you know, we're going to go and put in color red, and then we're going to put in last year's model this time around. I was putting in fake values in there because it shouldn't matter, for this particular instance. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're doing it yourself, If you're trying to, verify these properly, then you might want to look up um, like an actual data, car database that has all these make and models and so on and so forth. Um, so that you can confirm that it is indeed a accurate make and model. But I mean, this is meant to get a child case and stuff like that. So it really shouldn't matter all that much in this particular case. You shouldn't necessarily be worried about, um, or Pega shouldn't necessarily be worried about, confirming all this information either. But I digress. Let's move on. Okay, so we're creating this. Okay, because it says in step 4, advance the case to the resolution stage and make note of the assistance request case ID. Okay. Um, Now, once again, we have one that is, um, you know, something that could potentially be a problem without us really knowing about it. I mean, I'm already having some problems with the potential address, right? So, um, I forget exactly how many numbers are in the credit card or in a card. Um, isn't it like 10 or something like that? Hold on one second. Let me. Do I have an old card here? Not really. Don't think I have a old one. Just kind of lying about. Okay, well, I'm not gonna bother um, trying to find one. Let's see. Credit card number. Right there. Oh, yeah. Um, okay. Um, so I'm seeing here, according to this website, that there are 16 numbers. Okay. Should really remember that, but okay. So uh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. So there's our 16 number credit card, right? So we'll go ahead and submit that. Okay. Um, Now that was our create stage, so it should be, here in the validation right now, right? So, we're just saying, hey, get approval. So we're gonna just hit go. Now we're in the approval stage. We just need to put in some notes. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some random notes in there just to fill it out, just to make sure everything's handled properly. I'm gonna go ahead and click approve to move on. If I hit reject, then I might have some issues, obviously. So we're not going to do that, obviously. Okay. So once again, we're here in the service. Okay. Now, obviously, the window is a little small right at this moment in time. So, but what I can do is I can come on over here and I can select a provider. So let me go ahead and click on this. No other, nothing else going on here. So I'm going to click the select provider. And once again, we have the create child case. The class of the child work object is not specified. I'm getting the exact same error as before. Okay. I don't know what else to do at this point. Okay. Um, because, I followed the steps exactly. I put in a proper address. I put in a proper city, and the fact that, you have Boston and Massachusetts there. So I'm getting a listing of service providers here. Okay, I put in an accurate address. I filled in everything that I should fill in. Okay, an accurate make and model. Um, the a year, a color. I selected the customer username. Um, so I don't know what else to really say about this. Okay. Now, um, if my friend is watching, or if my contact that I've been kind of speaking with at Pega, um, is currently watching me right at this moment in time, then I would really love to see what they have to say about this right at this point, because I don't know what else to really do at this point. Okay, I'm resetting the entire data. Okay, so there should not be any residue at all. Okay, the instance should be clean, so there should not be any, you know, um, there should not be any database, you know, or data corruption happening right at this moment in time. But I'm almost wondering if there might be. Okay, Pega has that problem, unfortunately, where it stores information in the data that could potentially be messing up, these future instances. I don't know. Okay, I've seen it happen before where, um, if I try to create a case type um, and try to remove it and I try to use the exact same name of the case type, then it has issues with it. So it has a hard time trying to get rid of past data. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Um, that's not exactly new, or that's not exactly something that you know should really surprise anyone. Okay, um, so could that be a potential problem? I don't know. Okay, um, I'm just speculating right at this moment in time. I am unsure about what could potentially be the problem. So let me go ahead and let my friend know that I just got the error again. Just got the error. I use an official street address of the Boston, Massachusetts City Hall. So I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. So, um, so yeah, maybe maybe it has something to do with like distance or something like that. Like, I selected the Cambridge, Massachusetts location, right? Maybe it's having a hard time with like just general distance or something. Okay, let me go ahead and select the Boston, Massachusetts one and see if that might have a um, change at all. And no, I'm still getting the exact same error again. So, um, so I'm not sure. I don't know what I can do to get this to work out properly. Um, I clicked save and it went away. Select provider, same error. Now let me click save again. Error went away. And let me just hit submit. Let me see if that changes. Nope, that doesn't change the issue either. Yeah, just to see if, like, maybe, because I selected the provider, maybe it's still, like, in there, but, maybe it's having some, connection issues or something like that. So I thought maybe, hit submit, it won't have an issue. But no, that's not the case. So let me just go one by one through this list here and see if at some point in time this create child case goes away. So, nope, nope, no, 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 and no. Okay. Um, yeah. All right. Let's see about, just um okay, here let's try this. Let's refresh. Assign a service provider. So let's click Boston. Yep, nope, okay. What else can I do? Um, Maybe select service provider. Nope, that's not working at all. Um, nothing there for edit details, so not much I can really do about that. Still having an issue there. Um, okay, let me see about, maybe changing the stage. Let me just maybe go to the next stage and see if it somehow works. Um, I'll advance the case. Okay, so that went through, you know, I was able to change the stage to the resolution. I hit no to advance the case, which was step 5, and then in the to-do section of the case, right of the service, select services assignment, click go. Um, let's see. Okay, wait a second, hold on. In the to-do section of the case, to the right of select services, click go. But there's nothing here for select services. Hmm. Um, yeah, I think this is probably where maybe um, where kind of like the failure is right at this point. Because it doesn't seem like it's maybe no, maybe because it's not actually creating the child in this particular case. That might be the issue at hand right at this moment in time. So because I did um, the change stage from service to resolution because nothing was working on the service, then it couldn't create that child case. So um, yeah, okay. I wanted to see if there was something else that I might be able to do um, to handle this. Um, now the the task, um, you know, the assistance request there, didn't really work. So, um, so there's like, nothing, the case of A1 isn't showing up anywhere. So, um, we're just gonna go ahead and delete this A2. Now, what I want to do is I want to just go ahead and do the exit preview. I've heard, that maybe you go back into assistance request and click save, or click save and run here within the assistance request to see if, that might, um, change, to maybe create that, overall connection. So let me try that to see if that might work. So once again, we're going to go ahead and do the flat tire, continue. We're going to do the J Mitchell and continue from there. Um, once again, we're going to do the whole Boston, Massachusetts, and then it was what, one city hall square, right? That was the street for the city hall, if I'm not mistaken. Again, okay, we're gonna do the Nissan Altima. Okay, and we're gonna create a credit card number. We're gonna make sure that we have, the exact amount here. There you go. Expiration date. Something in the future. So we don't get hung up by that either. We click submit. We are now in the validation stage. That's obviously not the problem, so we're just gonna click on go. We're in the notes, so I'm just going to put in some, just a regular, text message there. I'm going to click on approve. Now we come to the service provider. Now, because I'm selecting Boston, Massachusetts, I will, before I selected this one first. Obviously, that didn't work. So let's try, just going for the first one here. Same city, right? So service select provider. Bam. Create child case. The class of child work object is not specified. I don't know. Um, so let's go back to our assistance request here, right? Because maybe I don't know. It's supposed to be, creating the service case. We have it selected here under service. Um, um, I'm not quite sure what else I can maybe do in this particular step to make it work. Um, let's see. Let me just kind of look to see if there's something that might be throwing this off somehow. Let me look at the data objects. Hmm. So here's something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend personally, because I've seen this kind of happen before, in that if you use the same like variable name as a class name, then it might you might have some troubles with um, you might have some disagreements in the compiler at times, depending on, what language you use. So typically what you want to do is you want to try to avoid that kind of situation and try to have, slightly different, you know, um, slightly different names for everything that you kind of use. So, we have the, service case type. We have the data object of services offered. So this text line right here of service, obviously that's not referencing the case type. That's actually offering a, particular text field. So what I would recommend personally, just to make sure that everything's, you don't have that potential conflict, based off of my experience from other um, my other languages, I would say something along those like, you know, service offered or something like that. Well, not well, maybe not service offered because that has, you know, I mean, you could get, you know, away with like service offered because it's not services offered, but maybe you can do um, uh, services company offers or something along those lines. Service offers or whatever, just kind of chain, make sure that this is slightly different than say the case type. That's probably what I would suggest anyway. Um, okay. This is just taking in um, just random information. You have services, service, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Um, hmm, maybe transfer information to new case. But that might not necessarily be exactly perfect either. But maybe that might be what they need, though. Hold on. Let's unmark that one. Um, because yes, we want to discard the unsaved changes because we don't necessarily want to save anything right at this moment in time. We look at our view on the select service. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here that has any like direct correlation with what we saw there for a second. So I don't know. Not quite sure what to really say about this, to be honest. I'm already kind of going over my what I would normally do for this particular um, session. So let me see if there's like maybe something from email or anything along those lines. Nope, doesn't look like it right at this moment in time. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I can really do in this particular case right at this moment because, um, you know, it doesn't feel like. the connection um, between these two case life cycles are being saved. They're not having that. Um, okay. Let's put it this way. The assistance request case type feels like it's not actually creating the service case at all. Okay, hence the reason why it keeps on failing at that particular stage. It's not, um, maybe it's not necessarily finding the information that it needs within the service case to handle that next step. I'm just speculating here. I don't know. Okay, but every single time that I've run this, and I'll run it again right now just to kind of prove or to try to show that I'm still having some issues here. As you can see, you're still seeing a little box in the background there. You know what? Let me change out. Instead of a flat tire, let me change to a dead battery. Okay, because I typically pick the flat tire, right? Let's go with dead battery this time. Let's go with H. Thomas this time around, and we'll continue. Once again, we will go with the One City Hall Square as the address at Boston, Massachusetts for the City Hall there in Boston. I know of Nissan Altima, so just continuing with that. Red and then model year of last year, just for the hell of it. Okay. I'll go with MasterCard this time around, right? And of course, we'll just pick the same number as last time, just because it's easier to, well, not the exact number. I messed up there, didn't feel like correcting it. Um, there we go. Okay, so we're in the validation. We've had no problems with it in the past, so we'll try again here. Um, Sorry, I wanted to check to make sure if anybody's like, if there was any chatters or anything along those lines. We'll go. Notes. Let me change, trying again to see if different choices comes up with a different result. I am insane. Because that's insanity right there. You try to do something over and over and over again, trying to expect different results, but it gets the same one, right? So, okay, so here we are once again at the select service provider. Okay, um, you know, first time around I selected Cambridge. Second time around I selected Boston. I don't know what else to really do on this particular instance, so we're just going to go ahead and select Boston, select provider, and it finally went through. Okay, no to advance the case. Oh, finally. God damn. Okay, so somehow those choices somehow fixed the issue. Um, I shouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, you know, this should be happening first time around, no problems. Okay, based off of your steps. Um, so I finally got it to work this time around, but you know, um, the amount of steps that I did to see if I can get it to work somehow, there's something going on there. There's some kind of linking problem going on with this particular challenge that is causing problems for anybody that tries it. Um, so if you're watching this, Pega, please, follow these steps and try to figure out where the problem lies because there's something going on here, under everything going on here, okay, that is causing that connection to fail somehow. I don't know. I'm not, you know, I'm coming into this, fairly new, fairly fresh. I'm not, I don't know everything that, you could possibly do, work with Pega, and eventually, I may get there, okay? I may get to that level where I can look at this and go, oh yeah, you know, you're dealing with, this issue, that other issue, okay? Maybe it had something to do with the data object. Maybe because the data object wasn't loaded in properly or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I do not know. I wish, I kind of wish that I did know, but I don't. Okay. And, um, right now, um, the challenge isn't offering any kind of solutions on that at this time. Once again, I'll let um, the folks over there know that hey, I finally got it to this point. So step six, or we already did the in the review service summary. Click no advance the case to resolve the assistance request case. In the to do section of the case, to the right of the select services assignment, click go. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so here's the select services. To the right of the select case ID, click the down arrow to see the relationship between the parent case and the child case. So, service case ID, click the down arrow to see the relationship between the assistance request, the A4, and the service request. So, confirm that the previous noted assistance request case ID is displayed, which it did. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and verify the challenge because I'm getting that I'm getting an well here let me see if I can quickly get the oh nope it went away already. Okay, so challenge is now complete right now. Okay, because of that. Okay, but here's the problem. There's something going on here. Okay, there's a problem that needs to be resolved. It really needs to have a deep dive to try to figure this part out because um, I'm not the only one that's had this problem with this particular challenge. I looked on the forum. I've seen others having the exact same issues, exact same problem with this particular challenge as well. Okay, this is not an isolated incident. Okay, so there's something going on here that's causing the problem. Okay, and you know, saying, hey, um, just refresh the page or go back and save it again or something like that. Okay, here's the problem with that. Okay, if you tell that to one of your frontline workers, they're gonna kind of get pissed off at you because they're like, I just wasted all this time trying to put in this information. Maybe the customer needs urgent assistance right at this particular moment in time. Like, um, like maybe, hey, they need a tow vehicle like right now. Okay, maybe they need, maybe they need emergency assistance, like the police or the fire department or something like that. And you're telling the person that might be handling that crisis situation to refresh. Don't do that. You know, figure out what the problem is because you know, um, you know, if if you're writing an application that's definitely, serious, like you're in, maybe you're writing an application for the hospital, maybe you're writing an application for the police or the fire department. Who knows, okay, what you might be doing. Don't go, oh, just do a refresh. It'll work itself out. No, no. Okay. Your job as a programmer is to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. Okay. If there's something that the user is entering that is breaking the system, then figure out a way to handle, the bad user input. Okay. So I passed this challenge, but it's, you know, this was my, what, sixth, seventh attempt or so at trying to do this easy when it should have been the first attempt. So, um, so yeah, there's a problem with this, okay, and it needs to be resolved. It shouldn't be swept under the rug, okay. Whoever's designing these instances really needs to take a look at what's going on underneath, you know, um, look at look at the connection between, the what's you know, the assistance request and the call to service to, you know, initiate, the connection of creating the service. Okay. Because right now, obviously, it's been failing. Okay. So, but that's it. That's where we're going to go ahead and end it at this point. Was not able to get to the second challenge. So we'll just go ahead and maybe save that for tomorrow. Um, I'll see what I can do about maybe sending this recording to Pega, and hopefully they can try to follow my steps exactly and figure out where the issue lies. I really hope so because, like I mentioned, there's others that are having the same exact issue, and they need to figure out what the root cause of it is and make sure that it doesn't happen again. So, um, or at the very least, put the put the fix within the challenge itself, so that the developer can see firsthand how to go about fixing it. Okay. Even if you have like a little note saying, hey, if you encounter this particular area, then these are the steps that you need to take in order to resolve it. That's perfectly fine. You know, go ahead and do that because, um, uh, especially if it's something detailed, doing the whole save, 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 that doesn't fix the issue. Okay. Um, Explain why there's a problem there and see, give them the steps necessary to go to like the data object to fix something there. Maybe it has something to do um, with the connection with the initial collaboration in the first place. Figure out, what is the, okay. So think of it this way. Okay, in C++ you have, or in C and C++ you have pointers, pointing to data locations and so on and so forth. Correct? Memory addresses. Okay. Right now, okay, based off of my experience in this, okay, you have your assistance request trying to point to the memory location for service, but it's not finding it there. Okay, it's as though the memory location isn't being loaded in with the service object. Okay, it's like pointing to the wrong address. Okay, you're creating the service in another memory address, but it's not pointing to the correct one. Okay, so in this particular case, you would, if you're like using C or C++, you'd be like, okay, I need to point the, I need to make sure that the address of the pointer is pointing to the correct memory location. Okay. Um, which I'm I'm kind of thinking that that's the problem here. Okay. We're creating all these, well, okay. Um, we're not creating different service objects because as you can see there, the, as you can see, we just created only one of them, you know, service one. Okay. So it's not a matter of like, um, you know, like the previous assistance request is creating, different services, like, this should have been like S4 if each one of these assistance requests was creating the proper service. Okay. It's not doing that. Okay. So there's something going on between the assistance request creating the the case type of service. Okay. So there's something wrong with that kind of connection going on. Okay. And it needs to be looked at. It needs to be addressed because you got a problem here. So um, I personally don't, but I'm not sure. I don't have like you know, I don't know everything about Pega right at this moment in time, so I don't know where that might be, where the problem might lie. Okay, so that's that's all I can say. So um, if I do get some additional clarity from my friend of mine or from Pega itself, we'll find out. But for now, I'm going to end this video and we're going to move on with the rest of the day here. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I gave someone some additional insight on what might be the root cause, or maybe I helped you on trying to get past this challenge yourself. I don't know. But um, I'm gonna stop it there. So thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff would be great. Hopefully I'll see you again. Thanks for lurking if you've been lurking. But that's it. So stop and recording.